here's a relatively simple part that we'll create. And then you use this one to kind of go through and see what all the different ways that we need to do orthographic views in a drawing and dimensions and all those kind of things. But we'll start by creating this part. Now we'll do it slightly different than we have it here. Instead of having kind of this right angle here, we'll have a sloped surface that because that kind of points out a thing that I want to make sure you see when we come to dimensioning and drawings. But let's just get going. We'll start at some corner. We'll just go along this outline and get our way done. I think we'll do it again, the same as we did similar. We'll start at this corner, go all the way around, so we can do that sloped line. So if we start at this corner, it says it's 15. So let's do a line. Go straight down 1, 5. Then this is 100. Right there. Oop, let's move this out of the way. So 100, and then up 30. Oop, that's at an angle. We don't want it at an angle. That's what we want. And then this distance here is 100 minus 40 minus 30. That is 30. 30. And then what is this height right here? All this says over here that the entire thing is 50. This was 30, so that should be another 20. 20, then we already said down here that across there is 40. Right, so now in the drawing, we drop straight down and go across, but we'll just close this off as as this shape right here. And then we'll say finish, and we'll extrude it to 50. Very nice. So now we can put the different holes in. Start with this one. The hole here says 2 holes of 20. This one has another one, so it must be these holes. So it should be a hole of 20, and it's centered 25 in both directions. So let's take advantage of that. And we're supposed to be 13 in. So this should be 13. And the diameter was going to be 20. That would be 1 hole. Let's just do them all separate. Extrude. We want to cut all the way through. Oop, all the way through, right there. No, where are we? Yeah, through all. Okay. Then let's do the one on top. Now this is 30, and it looks, there's a lot of stuff there. So it's looks like, oh, this is 20, centered. I'm assuming this is centered as well. I don't admit I'm getting kind of lost here. We'll make it centered. In the end, doesn't matter. So we want to have it centered. Yep, circle. This was 40. So the center would be 20, and it's supposed to be 30. There we go. Extrude that one as well. Go the other way, and we want to go all the way through. All right, and then last we'll put a hole onto this one right here. New sketch. And we'll say again that the half point there, and how far in do we want to go? Let's go maybe 20 from the top. So 25 is good, but let's do minus 20. And that's the same 20 there. And then we're going to also extrude that one all the way through. And you can see that kind of gives us a little bit of an interesting intersection here, but we don't care about that so much. Oh, we're missing the little cut here. So let's go there. And it is centered and 15 deep. So I want to have something that starts up here. In that direction is supposed to be 20. And in that direction, 15. And if it's supposed to be centered, then this whole thing was 40. So it'll be 10 from the edge. And okay. And now we want this to not extrude all the way through. So we'll have to kind of see. So more than that. So let's say maybe 20. All right. Looks good. All right. Does kind of the cut without going to the other side. All right, I think now we're done. So we'll need to save this. Click on save there. No, we're not doing any exams. Let's go into lecture. That one there. Get ourselves a new little thing, say temp. And go in there. And we'll just call it block. No particular reason. All right, so now we have our part. Now we want to do a drawing. So to do that, we have to open a new file. Click up here, and we'll go to where it says drawings. We have all these drawings. We, of course, have to choose one. We want to have ANSI millimeters is what we want. So we say create, and we want to have the IWD Inventor drawing instead of the DWG, which is the standard drawing format. Create, take a second, and then we have our kind of our outline. Well, we have everything that we need. Now, the problem is that we cannot read anything. It's all way too tiny. And that's because this is like a very large one, right? If we make it smaller, then we'll take up too much space. So what we'll do, we'll just cheat a little bit. We'll go to manage, we'll go to style editor, and we'll keep this very large drawing, but we will just make the text a little bigger so it fits. So leader lines, where do we have that? We need to have text, note text, and we need to have that as 8 is a good one. And we'll say we're missing part of our window here. Over there, we'll say save and close. And you can see how now all the stuff around here has gotten bigger. So that's what we wanted. So now what we can do is we can place views. We'll start with our base, and to do that, we'll need to choose a file. Now it will automatically choose the last one that you opened, which is great, which is kind of what we want. And it will kind of drop it in there. And you now have to decide for your orthographic views what your front is going to be. So we can kind of flip around, see if something is more interesting. No, I think that the actual front is good. So we can leave it like that. There's a scale here. Now 1 to 1 is a little small, so maybe we'll just put in 2. See how that goes. 3 is probably a little too big. Oh, you know what? We'll just do 2.5. Because we're in a computer, it doesn't matter. So we'll scoot this up a little bit. Nope, we don't want to do that yet. I guess we'll start over. So that, and we said 2.5. And we'll say okay. All right, so there's our front view. So now if we want to have projected views, we have to say, well, this is the one that we have. We want to have our top view and our front view. Oops. And then we'll also put one up here. And then once we click that all, and we click on the right and we say create, and it does everything for us. Now you can see that it does all the hidden lines for us. So it gets a little confusing because we have these weird intersections from our cut through. What it doesn't do is any center lines, right? So we're missing all of our center lines. So we can go in where it says annotate, and then you have this tool right here, the centerline bisector. We click that and say like, well, I know this here is a hole, so I need a center line. There it is. I know this is also a cylinder, and we get a center line. These all create a center line. Now you'll see that this center line kind of stops too early because it kind of goes out of, it's not really a full cylinder anymore. What we can do is we can just grab this and make it longer, right? Same thing with this one. Kind of has to go all the way down to there. All right, what do we have? Oh, we have to, of course, do that up here for this one as well. One that's on the edge, on the slope. So that's good. Where else do we have ones? This is full of them. Kind of hard to tell what's where. This and this is the big one in the middle. And then the small one is in the back. That's not correct. They should be aligned. Let's just do that one, and otherwise we'll get a little too confusing. Let's do that all the way through. Oh, I did it with the wrong one. That's why it was confusing. Right, it should be the outer one is this one and that one. And then the smaller one is this one and that one. All right, perfect. Now the big one has to be a little longer. It goes all the way to the top. All right, I think now we have our center lines. We can also do center marks, right? Any circle that we have there. Now these are not really circles, so we don't really want to put center marks on them. You'll see that this one here, it does only the half center mark because it doesn't extend out to here. But it will draw center marks for us. So maybe we'll put them in to kind of specify that this is a circle. All right, so that all looks good. Now what we're missing is some dimensions. Before we do those dimensions, though, let's move our blocks around here a little bit. Where are our views? Let's see if we can. Let's do edit view. That was that one. That's okay. Let's do edit this one. Why doesn't it let us? There we go. All right, let's pull it apart a little bit more so we have a little more space. Because now we want to do some dimensions. All right, so let's see. Dimensions are in annotate. You can see we have dimensions here. The cool thing is I can just go in and I can say like, well, if I want to know what the distance from here to there is, for instance, right, I can just put that in and it will do it for me. You can see it does text the right size. This is where the automatically generated number is, so we can say that's all good. Now, the problem with this one is that our arrows are way too small. So what we'll do, we'll have to go back into manage the style editor again. Just like we changed the number size, we also have to change the arrow size. And so we will go to dimensions. And we will say default. And then that's all good. What we want is display. So basically, if we kind of multiply these by 4, we get something that looks pretty decent. 10 and 4. Save and close. Right now we have something that looks pretty good. Another thing that we see is that our spacing is a little off, right? We don't really see that spacing there. So let's go and get into that. We can also say no trailing zeros. in any display. Let's see, display. So the value of B here is kind of small, so maybe we'll also do that times 4, would be something like 6. And then while we're here, we'll also change that we want to have this to be horizontal if we need it. Save and close. So now you can see those distances all looks a little nicer. All right, very good. Now we learned that we don't really want to put this down here, right? Because it's kind of out of the way. So let's get rid of that again. And we also learned that we want to kind of do it, don't want to daisy chain it. We want to do it with a baseline, right? So we can do the baseline command up there. So we choose where we want to start, right here. Choose our next one. Can't really do much here because it's a circle. So we'll do it here and do it there. And then we right click and say continue. And then we kind of move it to where we want to have it. And then we have to right click and say done. And with that, we have at least some of our dimensions in here. Now we can do that again to get our centers in here. But before we do that, maybe just one interesting thing to note, right? So if I wanted to get that center mark, I could say, well, I want to have the distance from here to the center. If I do that, I get a weird number, 1302, right? That's not something that we want to do. The thing is that we didn't dimension it on the flat surface. We did it on a slope. So we will have to go in and actually add another view to make this correct. And what the one we need is what's called an auxiliary view. We click that. We click on the one that we want to do. So it'll be this one. It says what we want. A, all that is good. And then we have to kind of signify what it is that we want to put on there. So we have it on the same slope, on the same size. And we'll put it in here. So getting a little crowded, but now we can see that this is actually a circle, right? And if we go back to annotate and put our center mark on the circle, right? And then do the dimensioning, then we'll see that this actually now dimensions the way that we want it to, right? This was the 20. We can say, okay. And otherwise, we can dimension it. Well, we should dimension it in this direction as well. So we'll dimension from here to there and do it 25. That's what it was. Now you'll see that it kind of does at an angle, but that's fine. We usually do it straight, but because this is everything is angular, that's what happens. Now the last thing we have to do, it's a hole, so we have to have the diameter. So we kind of have to swing that down here somewhere and say, okay. All right, so now let's see what else we need. Here we can do our center mark. So let's do another baseline one. Say from here to there, to there, to there. Continue, just about fits. And don't forget that you're done. So now we have everything in this direction except what we have there. How about heights? I think we have somewhat of a long extensions here, but I guess we can't really help that. So we'll do from here to there, to there, to there. Oh, I guess I didn't hit the baseline one. I thought I had, I must have missed it. So here, 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 and there. Continue. Add all of our stuff. Oop. Every now and then I'll forget to do the done one. And then we'll do, usually I would do that in here, but it's kind of crowded. So we'll do here, here, and there. I forgot again, the baseline. Here to there, to there. Right click done. And then that in there. So that's good. I think we're kind of getting to the point where we have most everything done. Now, what we don't have is the information here, but where that is. And so I think what we'll do is we'll do another little trick because it's kind of confined and hard to see. So we'll do another place views and we'll do a detail. And so we'll choose this one. And then, so the detail is going to be kind of zoomed in a little bit at least. And we'll have to say where we want this detail to be. So we want to do this area right there. And then it asks us where to put it. So we'll put it here. And then we want to put the information in there. Now this is getting a little crowded here. So maybe we can grab this guy, move it back in so we have a little more space for this one. All right, it says down here what that's the detail of this, where the B is. And so now we can dimension this here. Let's go back to annotate, dimension, so we can say that we want this to be, oh, we missed that corner there. Let's go out and let's see if we can grab this and edit view. You know what, we'll just, it's not sure how to go back and move the, oh, maybe we can just do that. Yeah, we can just kind of make that a little bigger. So we have that corner. Now we'll do edit view. And we'll make that, instead of 5:1, we'll do 4:1. So we have a little more space to do our dimensioning. We'll do dimensions. We'll do it baseline. So from this corner to there, to there. Continue. And done. And then we'll do from here, there, just a single one. And okay. Oh, somewhere I lost it. Thought I hit okay. There to there. Why does it not want to draw it? There we go. I was clicking right for some reason, not left. And we have our dimensions. All right. So with that now, I think we have all that we need. Right. All of our dimensions are on here. It's a little bit full. Maybe we can, let's go out of the dimension command and let's grab this and move it down a little bit. Give it a little more space in between. I think with that, we are good to go. Now we can, of course, save this as an IDW. So it's just block IDW, for instance. And we can also export it to PDF if we wanted to, right? And then if we export it to PDF, it takes the background out. So it would just be on a white background. So it looks very good. And with that, I think we have our orthographic views and dimensions and everything that we need.